sabes lo que pasa. El primer verso, papi. Lo que manda aquí la clave. Este ritmo guaguanco, esto es lo que existe. Y también está mi chamaco, nadie nos resiste. Aquí estamos bravos, la chema tan brava. Esta vida es brava, y yo también soy bravo. Por eso lo que repica son los cueros. Aquí lo que suena a fuego. Mueve la abuela el pescadero. Esto lo mueve el aduanero. Norte a sur, lo vemos viendo. La orilla el mar, nos ve sonriendo. Y yo sé lo que tenemos no es para juego. Y esto divina. Por eso lo que hacemos gritar, tumbar con ritmo letales. Saben lo que pasa. Mi abuelita ahora tiene masa. Aquí lo que falta el cajón. En esta jungla soy el gran león. Armen las cosas en el malecón. Lo que gozamos es salsa y son. Ya saben lo que repica son los cueros. Tengo la clave, soy el suero. Esta vida es fuego. Por eso quiero una vida suave, soy sincero. Que viva mi gente, que viva la raza. De noche a día aquí se trabaja. Igual la gozamos, bailamos en plaza.
Wow. Good evening, Washington, D.C., Facebook, social media, Instagram. Welcome to Straight Up Talk with Earl West. And tonight we have a very, very special guest, Mr. Jimmie Morales, the legendary Jimmie Morales. I'm so excited this evening. We have Ronald P.S. Vazquez, who translated the Spanish version of the book to English. We have the author, my girl, Bella Martinez, and we have my mentor, Eileen Torres, with me. And it's going to be one crazy, crazy interview. Mr. Morales has recorded with several legends. He's an awesome musician, but everyone tells me he's such a great musician. But more importantly, they say he's even a better person. So I'm excited to catch up with Mr. Morales and his crew tonight. I want to thank Bella Martinez for hooking me up with the book and making this happen. I could not put the book down. I have on the scroll up top where you can order the book. You gotta order this book right now. Let's see if we can catch up with everyone. Bella?
Yes?
Ronald's here.
Hello.
Eileen. And last but not least, the legendary Mr. Morales. Mr. Morales, how are you this afternoon, sir?
I'm doing okay. Glad to be here, Bella, Eileen, and happy to be in this interview. Hope everything is well over there, and I'm happy to join and to have a great time with all of you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Wow. Okay, let's get straight to it because I know you guys are busy. Bella, how did this happen? How did you make this project happen of writing the book of this legendary musician?
Well, as you know, good night, everyone. Good evening. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us to your space. As you know, I love to dance. As a matter of fact, I met both of you around dance floors in DC, both at Earl's parties and Eileen's venues as well. That legendary salsa bar, and I love dancing, but I like to dance to the sound of the conga. And Aileen know a little bit more about me. We hung out at congresses when we went to New York. We were in law when we went to private parties, and we saw Willie Alvarez, Carlitos Soto, all these legendary musicians. And I have respected um, instrument performers all my life. I love salsa. I respect music. I respect our culture as part of our expression. So I dance. I love DJs. I love salsa. I love to listen to music on the radio, but we wouldn't be able to either listen to those tunes or dance to those tracks if it wasn't for our musicians recording them. So since I started taking dance lessons, I followed Jimmie Morales without him even knowing. So yeah, the teachers, some great dance instructors I had would have me listen to certain uh, themes or certain songs so that I could dance to the sound of the conga and learn to match the rhythm, the clave, the timing to the body expression and do it in time correctly. And so I started to follow the Jimmy's lap. He was playing with Willie Rosario, Frankie Ruiz, now Gilberto Santa Rosa, and a lot of the good slap for us dancers to listen to when we're learning and we can't identify the time just yet was made by Jimmy's hands. So I started to follow him as a musician just because every time I switched from track to track, I would look at the conga player and it was the same one. So for over 20 years, I have been following him. And and when the pandemic started, I let me backtrack because I got ahead of myself a little bit. So because I have been traveling to either Puerto Rico, DC. I have lived in Mexico, but mostly in Puerto Rico. I have had the luxury of being surrounded by these great maestros. So um, I have been able to talk to them, to hang out with them. There was a joint. There is still operating in Puerto Nuevo here in Puerto Rico. And I used to go to the jam sessions on Thursdays over at Guabay of Genio. And there I met every musician you can think of. And over there, I met Jimmie Morales in person, one on one. And Luguito, rest in peace, from Guasabara Combo, he introduced us, and I said, I told Jimmie, I looked at him, and I said, I finally meet the person whose hands I've been following all my life, all my days. He looked at me like I was growing a horn on my forehead. What I told him, I meant it because that's how it happened. So now, fast forward, the pandemic happens, and guess what? We've been talking. I talked to musicians. I mean, that's no secret. I can contact them because I like to study culture and I like to study music. And I'm now writing after I retired from my job that you remember brought me to DC so often. So I'm now writing. So I contact musicians and I interview them, or I just talk to them as regular friends or persons. So this day I sent Jimmie a video and we were exchanging information for social media and YouTube, and I were talking. And I asked him, I said, look at Jimmie, I need about a minute long track for my YouTube video, for the intros of my videos. I mean, who could say that Jimmie Morales a minute intro. So he said, okay. He sent it to me that same afternoon. And then we talked, and he's just very down to earth, like just a regular person. So we're talking on FaceTime. I said, Jimmy, I'm writing. He had his birthday had passed, had happened around that time. So I said, I'm gonna send you something. Can I get your mailing address? So I sent him a book, a copy of Insurrecta. And he didn't know I was a writer. I'm like, where have you been? Everybody knows I write. But he did. He's just, his agenda is just, like Willie Rosario said, all he wants to do is play and play well. It's something. So I said, so I sent him a book. And then fast forward, we're talking that day. I said, has anyone approached you to write your biography or your memoir? Or he's like, no. I said, well, okay. So I pull out a notebook. And we're on FaceTime. I said, okay, tell me about your life. I'm gonna write your book. So he just chuckled. He just cracked up and started laughing and said, are you laughing at me? I'm dead serious. I'm gonna write your book. And fast forward here.
Okay. For the viewers, the R on the screen is Ronald P.S. Vazquez, who translated Spanish version of the book to English. How did you meet Ronald? And tell us about Ronald, Bella.
Oh, so I know Ronald since before he was born.
Okay.
I gave birth to him. He's my kid.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, he's my 23-year-old baby son. He's my, yes. So Ronald learned the clave before he said he would be in the back seat singing to the Z93 jingle. And he didn't know how to say mama yet. But he would say Z93. But he didn't know how to say mom. Right, Ronald?
Mm-hmm.
So he knew the clave since he was 1.5. He learned the clave before he learned to talk. And he's been surrounded by music. He studied baritone at the Conservatorio de Música here. So he knows of clave, he knows of Luguito, and he knows very well of Jimmy as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, before we go on, I want the viewers to listen to this cut I've been playing every day, all day. My girlfriend's been mad at me. She's like, "You've been playing that song for the last 3 days, every day." I said, well, Eileen Torres sent it to me, and Mr. Morales doesn't know this cut. It's just the kind of mambo that I like. I'm going to just play a few seconds of it. I know we got a lot to cover, but I just want the viewers to listen to how Mr. Morales plays. María, pa' que salga bonita en la fotografía. Wow, it's got the horns, it's got the conga. You know, I love those horns. Oh my goodness. And he also has a later version of it on Spotify. I'll get that link so you can check out the new version of that. Wow. Is that your single, Mr. Morales?
My singer?
Your single, sencillo.
Yeah, that's a single. But that actually is a record. That tune is made 10 years ago. but I never complete the album, and then I make another tune of Latin jazz. It wasn't in the second tune, but that was the one they put in the radio and the station radio here in Puerto Rico, and that's the favorite tune of Bella. Píntate los labios,
Mm.
lipstick, but
Wow.
it was a great time. That was 10 years ago, and I heard that song checking a video of a group of Cuba, and
Mm.
it was a conjunto of the Roberto Fast. He was a singer and very popular in the 50s and 60s, and they have that tune, and I already saw them in a DVD, and I get crazy about that tune. Then I have to I my object was to make like a single Latin jazz single only. But then I have to think about the people who like to dance and like to hear lyrics from a song, and then I choose that one because it was a simple lyric, and I want something that the people like to hear and can feel the beat and can feel a way to dance, and that's why I make that song, thinking in the dancers. And that came
Oh,
out very nice, and I still love that song. It's like when I hear the song is like it's uh, it's something like you feel that it is the first time you hear the single. For me, that's
right.
for me. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
every time I put it on, I get up and it's a pleasure to me to hear that song that I made. Maybe it's my only hit by myself, maybe, but I'm working for finish uh entire CD with tunes similar like that and Latin jazz too. That's
Wow.
my object. Yeah.
Whew. I love that song. I just love that song. I've been
Yeah,
making I've
and
been making videos off of it.
yeah,
Oh,
and the
then you
thing is,
from the
the
track or
arranger,
yeah, I
yeah,
was just
the
gonna tell you
arranger,
the arranger and they're all maestros.
Yeah.
yeah, the arranger of that tune was the piano player of Ray Barreto.
Which
Wow.
one?
He,
Which
he,
one?
he Luis Cruz. He was with Barreto maybe like 10 or 15 years with Barreto, the piano player and arranger. He was my favorite, and I never met him in person. We just talked by phone, and a friend of mine introduced me to him, and then I told him that I would love that he make me a music arrangement. Then I sent him the lyrics, and he sent me back the music, and when I heard that, well, I was totally in love with the song, and that's what happened. And he passed away a couple of years ago, and he rest in peace. Luis Cruz. He was a great arranger.
Wow. Okay. Eileen, you got any questions for Mr. Morales?
Yes, I do. Probably 10, but I'll start with just one or two. Was conga your first instrument?
Yeah, that was well. No, I'm sorry. Let me.
La guitarra.
My first my first instrument was a guitar because
Okay.
I was a big fan of the Beatles
Oh, the
and
Beatles.
Beatles, Beach Boys, and Elvis Presley. Because I was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
I was born over there, and then my father gave me this guitar, but I never learned to play the guitar. Then when I was 9 years, we moved to Puerto Rico, and that's where I start to hear the Latin music at home. Because when I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, my friends were all, from the U.S. They all speak English. They don't know nothing about Latin music, and we only one record in home that was from a group Puerto Rico that calls Rafael Cortijo and Ismael Rivera. That was
Wow.
that was the group before a Gran Combo of Puerto Rico.
Right.
After that group became a Gran Combo of Puerto Rico. But I don't know nothing about Latin music at that time, and I have 9 years at that time when we moved to Puerto Rico. Then when we moved to Puerto Rico, I started to hear in the different radio station the Latin music, and I started to get involved in the sound. And the thing is, the music I was hearing at that time was the salsa was playing from New York, but I was in Puerto Rico, and I was always hearing the salsa by the radio stations, and that's the way I've get in love with our Latin music. That's the way I get in the percussion. Then my father buy me a cowbell. Was my first instrument after before the conga. Then when we moved to another place in Bayamón, Puerto Rico, I have a neighbor that he had a conga. And I heard he played the conga. Oh my God, I love that sound. That was the way I can, you know, relate that with the music I was hearing in the radio stations, because I never saw the instruments, the Latin instruments. I was starting to to educate my ear, hearing the music, and try to identify the conga with the record. You know,
Ah.
with each instrument
Mhm.
of the percussion, the timbales, the bongos. I can know what how they sound, but I don't really know how to play them. I just only take the conga, start
Right.
practice with the records, and I don't uh, I don't have the chance to go to school, music school, never, because we at the time Puerto Rico, they were like some there was not they were like one or two special schools of music, but it was very far from home, and my father and my mother don't have money to get me there, but I have to learn by myself, buying the records, and my neighbor, he gave me the conga to practice at home with the record. And then my assignment every day was to learn one tune every day of the one record. Uh, for example, Dance Mania from Tito Puente. I start to learn every tune. You know, start with one first, but if I don't finish with that one, I don't go step forward to learn the other tune. I
Mhm.
have to learn the first one first. And I have to learn the breaks that the congas do with the band and the sound and how the conga players are playing. But everything was hearing, by ear, by my ear. There was no books at that time that I can get at that time for a percussion. It's very hard in Puerto Rico, and that was the way I started. With hearing, put a record. Okay, I started to try to be in the beat with the tune, and if and I make a mistake, I take it and put it back. I don't know how you call that.
The needle.
Bella la aguja.
The needle. The needle.
No, but la aguja.
Yeah.
Needle. The
Well,
needle of,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, I have to put it back to study the break of the conga. That it was a break with the band because have to hear it a lot of times, and I have to memorize that. And then when I finish that song, I go to the other one. That was the way I start to learn, and I start to educate my ear, and that was the way I started playing congas. And we had like a couple of neighbors that was interested in percussion too. Then we have one of my friends have his father played trumpet, he played the sax, and we make a group that calls the justice group the La Justicia calls the group.
How
Yeah,
old were
it's
you?
crazy.
How old were you when you made that group?
That I was it was like 14 or 15 years. I was I was in high school, I think so. It was
Okay.
14 or 15 years old at that time.
And when you were
Then
young,
yeah.
who were your favorite congueros? And then I'll ask you when you got older if that changed.
Oh well, my favorite conga was Barreto, Rey Barreto, because he was my model. You know, he was one of the greatest conga player of the world because he already started playing jazz, and that was the way he started. You know, yeah, he was the best conga best jazz player in percussion. You know, he started very young, and he was in love with Chano Pozo that came from Cuba to New York, and Chano Pozo start they make a mix with of Dizzy Gillespie, and they make like the Latin jazz. That was the way
Manteca.
they started.
Right.
Manteca,
And
that's
people.
right. That's right. Then Barreto have to go to the military service, and then when he came back, he started practicing and started to hear all that music when his mother was taking English lessons because she don't know how to speak English because they were from Puerto Rico. They moved to New York, but when his mother go to take the English lessons, he was hearing all the jazz stuff on the radio station in New York. That was the way he fell in love with jazz, and he started playing jazz, and he make a lot of recordings with different biggest artists of jazz. And there's a lot of people don't know about that, but he really started like a conga player, but in jazz. Now,
Mhm.
then he started to make a band with violin, and he do like a mix with the charanga and salsa. That's the way he started, and then he continued playing salsa, and he was the most famous conga player in New York and over all the U.S. Was very famous at that time, and that time was Mongo Santa Maria. He was a conga player, and he was the conga player of Tito Puente.
Wow.
And when Mongo left Tito Puente to go to California and play, he was going to play with Carl Jader,
Wow.
and the bongo player go with Mongo to play timbales with Carl Jader, but they have to move to San Francisco, and then that's the way Barreto joined Tito Puente for maybe 1 year and a half, and after that he started his own thing, and that's a part of the history of my hero, Fey Barreto.
Ooh, wow. Hmm. Wow. A lot of history. A lot of history.
Are there
Yeah,
other?
so
Have you fallen in love with the other congueros?
what? Oh, of course, Barreto. Okay, Barreto was my like my idol, right? But at that time, when I was in Puerto Rico, there was Eddie Montalvo. He was a conga player. He was one of my best friends. He's like my brother right now. But I started hearing him playing with different groups in Puerto Rico. Uh, sorry, from different groups in New York, because I really learned with the conga players that live in New York, because the Cuban music you cannot you cannot find it in Puerto Rico. It was very difficult at that time. And I started to Milton Cardona was the conga player of Willie Colon and Hector Lavoe.
Right.
Frankie Rodriguez was the conga player of Ismael Miranda and Larry Hallow. Gene Golden was a conga player of a group called La Conspiración. And there was another conguero, Frankie Malavé, that plays with Tito Rodriguez and plays with a lot of cats over there. That was well, there were too many conga players at that time that you can catch different parts from different conga players, and be one. But it was very interesting because it was a mix of different styles that I was checking at that time. That helped me a lot, hearing that different styles, because at that time the groups they always use their own musicians to make the record.
Right.
The things in the 80s changed a lot, but in the 70s they use the same people, and that's the way they make their own style. The groups in New York. There was another conga player, Jerry Gonzalez. He was a conga player of Conjunto Libre. Marcelo Valdez was a conga player of Tito Rodriguez. That was one of the biggest stars in Latin music at that time. And well, I can mention Patato Valdez. He was one of the greatest conga players in New York, but he was from Cuba.
So, Jimmy, if I can add something about Montalvo, Eddie Montalvo.
Yeah.
May I? Okay. So, Eddie Montalvo gave us the introduction of the book. And there is, yes, and the back cover text is from Poncho Sánchez.
Wow.
Yes, and we have an anecdote with Eddie Montalvo. Eddie Montalvo came over to Puerto Rico to play, and he had to go back to New York before Hector Lavoe's presentations were over. So he had to go home, and Jimmy had to fill Eddie Montalvo's shoes for that particular performance. The last one, Hector Lavoe did in Ponce. So, wow. Yes. So I was, I'm a math major, so I had to count and conclude. So Hector Lavoe was playing at Jimmy's high school graduation ball. And exactly 10 years after, he was Hector Lavoe's tumbador for that particular performance.
Yeah.
So he would have. Hector
Wow.
Lavoe was his favorite singer, but he never thought that he was going to be filling Eddie Montalvo's shoes, accompanying Hector Lavoe, el cantante de cantantes.
A
Wow.
dream come true. How congratulations.
Yeah. Yes,
Thank you,
Mr.
thank you. At that time, I was traveling with Hector Lavoe in the same car to the gig, and we go to Hector Lavoe's father's house in Puerto Rico. We visit his father first after before the gig, and that was a big experience for me.
Yeah,
Being with
he's in the
that's
book.
in the
Like,
book.
yeah, he
Yeah.
rode all the way from San Juan to Ponce, right by Hector Lavoe, to then visit his father. And there was apparently some, resentment between Hector Lavoe and his father that Jimmie experienced a little bit of. And I also wanted to add something that we don't want to forget. When Jimmie jumped from his initial forming bands like, house bands to playing pro with nada más y nada menos el maestro Willie Rosario, he had big shoes to fill because he had to replace Papo Pepin.
Wow.
And that was not easy. So Jimmie was very nervous, but Willie Rosario basically shaped Jimmie into what Willie Rosario wanted a conguero to be. And if you want to add that, Jimmie.
Wow.
It
What?
seems like he shaped you into an image of himself because Willie is known for being such a perfect timing musician. And that's what everyone says about you. You are perfect time, always flawless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I really appreciate that. Well, being with Willie Rosario was really my school. You know, and I was very young. I was like 20 years old at that time, and he, Papo Pepin was a conga player at that time with Willie Rosario, and he was almost the best conga player in Puerto Rico at that time. He do all the records with everybody. Then he stepped away to go to another group. Then Willie Rosario saw me playing with Tito Allen. Then that's the way I get on Willie's band. And I started very young, and then I start making the rehearsals and start to make the recording with Willie. Eventually, I was with Willie about 8 years, and that 8 years, I learned a lot from Willie Rosario. That was my really school. My really trainer was Willie Rosario because he every time I go to the office to get my check from the gigs, he called me to the office and he said me, Jimmie, sit down there. We have to talk. And he, I like the way you're playing, but you can do this. You can be better in this part. And he gave me a lot of tips. And I have to thanks Willie because thanks Willie, I'm here right now, and I make a lot of recordings because he gave me a lot of tips and he put me in the track in the right way, how to play, how to be a great musician, how to be disciplined, how to be a be a good person. That was something that I never gonna forget from him, and we still have a great relationship. And he's like my father. That's the way I can say about Willie Rosario. That's the way I feel, and I'm very blessed about that happened with me, and I spent 8 years. But then, well, I jumped for another group that it was very hard for me leave that group because that was the one of the best group in Puerto Rico, and well, I jumped from to another group, but I in the end of the story, I make about 14 records with Willie Rosario because he used me 3 years later. He called me back to record to make the recordings only, and that
Wow.
was that was something very nice for me. A great experience. That's a great music that people have to take an eye and hear about Willie Rosario music. One of the great best band to the dancers. You know, you have to
Yes.
check out Willie Rosario.
Yeah, we know him well, and
Something
what
else.
an honor to have your name mentioned. You and Michi Lavoy and Willie Rosario in the same breath that Tony Vega sings
Yeah,
about.
Wow.
yeah,
Great.
that's right.
I got the
Tony.
book here. I got the book here. And
Oh, you got everything. You got
it has
everything.
56 pages of the discography. I'm trying to figure out how did Ronald come up with all these titles, and all the titles, all the albums you played on, and not even have credit. So this doesn't even include all the albums. There are five songs on each page, 50 pages. That likes 250 albums that you have played on.
Yeah,
Crazy.
the thing is,
Yep.
we don't find everything yet.
Yeah, something keeps
They're
coming
missing.
up.
Yeah, Ronald do a great research with the albums, and he makes a great job. You know, we always in contact, and he was, he do all that work, finding and writing the credits of the album and looking forward for put the pictures in the right way. And he was our our angel in silence. He was working, and we never hear him. You know, he don't complain for nothing, and he do everything the way Bella told him to. Bella gave him the instructions to do the things that she wants. She she wants the discography looks like that, very organized. Some I never saw something before like that in a book of discography like that. So everything there, all the details of the company, the artist, and even the year, by year, since
Oh yeah.
Logical order.
1978, yeah, 1978 to 2020.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
and Ronald have a big credit for all he make and he help us, and I
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
we also had an advisor. We want to also thank Miguel Vázquez for every time. Miguel is a music collector, also a conguero himself from California. And every time we had a question on Jimmy's lab, if he was the one on the recording or not, and we still had doubts because even Jimmy doesn't know his lab as well as Miguel Vázquez does. So he was our technical advisor and also our editor in Virginia, Toby Bennett, to
Mhm.
make sure that we gave you all a quality product. This is just every detail was taken care of. The book cover was a creation of Fabricio Aguirre from Bogota, Colombia. And the back cover picture is from Carlos Adames, one of the soca artists from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So this is basically the world in your hands. Is I mean, we didn't do it on our own. We had a lot of collaborators. And we had 35 collaborators from Tony Vega to Gilberto Santa Rosa, Willie Rosario himself, Eddie Montalvo, like I said, Poncho Sánchez, great masters that, were willing to give me their time. Sammy Garcia, Cachiro Thompson, Luisier Rivera, Stacy Lopez, Tito Ortos, Felix Santiago from the dancer side. So we had musicians, singers, dancers, and they all said the same. Jimmie is an amazing musician, but he is even a better person.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
But,
I forgot
go
I
ahead.
forgot to mention about the conga players. Poncho was a very important conguero, and I learned a lot from Poncho because I remember a friend of mine uh, gave me a gift, and the gift was a record of Poncho Sanchez. I don't even know him. Then I start to hear his music, and that was my Latin jazz band. My favorite Latin jazz band is Poncho Sanchez, and he became my friend years later when I joined the same company that we were in of Remo. Remo have a company of instruments, and we were in the same company. Okay, that
Awesome. Uh, Gainer Bruno, a famous DJ in Washington, D.C., wanted me to ask you how you felt playing with John Dandy Rodriguez and Oresta Pilato
Oreste Pilato.
on, on
well,
Gilberto's.
that's a yeah, his Berto last album. Well, that's a like a dream come true because they were the the players of Rey Barreto. That was the timbales player of Barreto was Oreste Pilato, and the bongo player of Barreto was Johnny Rodriguez. How can I feel? I feel that was a dream, and I have to thank Gilberto Santa Rosa that do uh, invite them to this album that calls Colegas, and he invite them, but he invite me to play conga with them because he know that they were my favorite percussionists, and I really appreciate that big thing that Gilberto do, and it was really a great experience. You play from somebody that you, since a kid, you were hearing them playing with Rey Barreto. It was something I never thought that could happen at that time in my life, and that was like a gift from God. Feel very very lucky for that.
So if I
And
can add to what Jimmie has just said, Johnny Dandy Rodriguez gave us the prologue of the book, and he says, Jimmie is one of the best congueros I've ever met. He knows to hold the bass and can maintain the rhythm like few others. His complementary style adapts to the needs of any orchestra in which he plays. He is a tremendous accompanying musician and never overpowers the other musicians in the orchestra. This is what Johnny Dandy says on the prologue.
Johnny,
I
Johnny,
pray.
thanks
I
to
pray.
Johnny.
Before we go on, we still got a lot to cover. I want the viewers to know that I'm going to give you an analogy right here. Jimmie Morales is equivalent. It's like if you buy a Michael Jordan sneaker, you know you got the best sneaker. Well, Jimmie Morales has his own signature series. If you buy a Jimmie Morales signature series, you got you got the best right here.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah. That's my signature drums from Toca, and well, that's a big story behind the congas. You know, I have to thank Dave Lane because he is the man who make this happen. That and that the way that happened is because I was signed with Remo before Remo, and I have my own signature series with Remo, right? But Remo discontinued the Latin percussion, and I get in the air. I don't know what I gotta do. I I, I think about myself to keep freelance or join another company, but I was not sure what I have to do at that time. And I remember Lane David because Lane at that time he was the man the, the be responsible to Remo do the signature Jimmy Morales conga drums. He worked with Remo at that time. That was in 2005. Now in 2018, I called Lane because I post something about my daughter on Facebook, and he put a like. And I saw the like. Oh, that's Lane. Let me call him.
Mm-hmm.
And I need an advice, you know. And I call Lane. Hey, Lane, this is Jimmy. How are you doing? Oh, hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Lane, I have to talk something about what's happening with me right now. Uh, I'm with Remo. I'm still with Remo. Playing with the skinheads, but I don't really have no endorsement for conga. I can be in the LP company right now because Remo uh, gave me a contact to be with LP. But I was with LP uh, before Remo, you know. Then Lane answered to me and told me, Jimmy, I'm with Talk with percussion. You what? Yeah, I'm working with Toka. Tell me what you need. I'm. He told me, tell me what you need. I was wanting to work with you for a lot of years. I was checking you, but I have a big respect to Remo, and I don't I cannot offer you something because Remo was my friend too. But Remo was, Remo passed away a couple of years ago, and I was a freelance conga player at that time. Remo passed away. They discontinued the Latin percussion. Then Lane, the vice president of sales, told me, no, came with Toga, you signed with Toga, and we start to make the design of your new signature series conga drums. And that's the way the congas came out in 2019. And here's the beautiful purple sparkle series congas over there.
Yeah, but what we
And
would
there's
like
Miguel.
that was the first time that two companies that are competitors in nature came into agreement to uh, make a set of drums, and the drums are toca. The skins, the arches, as they call them, are Remo, and that was an improbable. That was a precedent. Jimmie set a precedent. He put the two presidents to talk, sit on the table and negotiate. Because Jimmie said, I want those conga drums, but I want the conga heads to be Remo. And he had to wait until they agreed, but he got it his way.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that was
Now that is
another
a tendency.
story.
Now other companies are using Remo conga heads or skins or patches for any instrument. But Jimmie was the first one who got them to sit at the table at the agreement table. They had to negotiate
Yeah,
that.
right. Yeah, because Toga don't have a deal with Remo, and if you try to put at that time skin of Remo on a Toga drum, I don't like the way they look at that time. And then when I told Lane, I'm okay with the congas. Let's do the congas, but I would like the congas that came out with the Remo head, and they take all the dimensions and everything, and fits very perfect in the drum, and makes a different look from other congas. And that was a hit from Toca and Remo be together, and I feel very honored about that.
Wow.
That's part of the story.
Eileen?
Well, I also want to know if what's the funniest story of your playing time? Musicians always have great stories, true stories that happened in their lives. Give me one of the funniest stories in your life.
Maybe I have.
I have one.
You have one?
Yeah, he was auditioning to go play with Rafi Levy.
Rafi Levy? Yeah, that's right.
And he was going to the rehearsals already. And he'd agreed to, that's actually the second funniest, but he agreed to go play and everything. But then when Willie Rosario approached him to bring him on board, he went and talked to Charlie Sierra, his good friend, timbalero, and Charlie Sierra said, "Are you crazy? What do you have to think about? Just go with Willie. I mean, what do you mean that you have to think about it? You know, a lot of people would kill to go play with Willie Rosario." So he went and played with Willie Rosario. But what he had, he didn't forget, but he didn't plan on standing Rafi Levy. He was supposed to have gone to play with Rafi Levy's orchestra on the 30th, but he was double booked because he had to go 30th of June, but he started playing with Willie Rosario on the 2nd. So he was double booked for the rehearsal. And he never said, he didn't say goodbye to Rafi Levy or anything. He just didn't show up.
And the rehearsal, I don't go, but they have a spy, and they send over Willie Rosario's office because we make the rehearsals over there, and somebody told them that I was have a practice with the Willie Rosario band at the 1978. That's the way I start with Willie Rosario. And well, there's another funny story. I remember I go with Jerry Rivera. He's a young singer, and there's the backline companies, right? That have all the instruments, and the musician don't travel with the instruments right now. Nobody. And we go to Venezuela, and I was playing with Jerry Rivera. Roberto was playing there with a group of girls from Colombia. But I was the conga player that night with Jerry Rivera. And then I saw my conga drums over there, the Remo series over there. But they put me some LP congas to play with Jerry Rivera. And I saw my congas over there that was to be playing the conga player of Ruben Blades. And I told the guy that was in charge there of the equipment of the congas, I told him, can I use the yellow one, that one over there? And he told me, hey, are you Jimmie Morales? Yeah. Oh my God! Of course you can use it. that was something very very funny because they don't even know I was there. My conga was over there, but the people backstage don't know that I was there in that stadium. It was a lot of people, a lot of big bands, famous singers there, and then I got the Remo conga on the stage, and then came some bunch of guys, a girl that played congas that calls Gilma from Colombia. That was the first time I met Gilma. She is a conga player. She lives in Colombia right now. And Gilma told me, "Hey, you are Jimmy, and you don't tell me you're gonna be here in Venezuela to play." That was the way I have to meet you. You know, that was a nice time that in Venezuela. But as I have a lot of funny story, but I cannot remember all the story. But that well, that's a couple of story, and Bella make one. That it's a great time to be. The musician have a lot of different experience, bad and good experience, and sometimes the people don't know that we do music and we make the people happy, but sometimes we are not happy making music because they don't know what's happening with us, you know. But the music is like a therapy for everybody. I think for the musician, something very important right now at this time in the pandemic. I start make some rehearsal this week with Gilberto because we're going to Orlando and Miami this weekend. And wow, when we start playing again, wow, it was something very amazing, and it was like starting again, playing with the band, and everybody was happy, everybody was relaxed. You know, it was almost a year that we don't play something out of Puerto Rico, and I'm gonna take a plane at Friday. That's gonna be my first flight to US since the pandemic. It must be like a year, right?
Yeah.
Since started and we're gonna start to make some music, and right now in Puerto Rico we cannot play with a big band, you know, with a really band with sax, trumpets, and everything. You can play in a close place, but it could be like a trio, only three guys playing. And I'm doing some stuff like that with Luis Marin playing the piano, and Odanis is a bass player, very young guy, nice guy. He plays very well, and myself and the congas. And the people are eating, and we are playing soft music, jazz, and bossa novas, and you know, there's something for entertainer for the people that are going to eat in the restaurant. And that's the way we make some gigs, but it's not all the time. I'll be the first time in my life that I don't play a lot of gigs. There be some recordings and other opportunities right now to make more contacts. And the pandemic was something positive for Bella and myself because we had the time to make uh, the book. That was the time we see the positive way. It was a time that we can make the story. We have the time to do it because I already have a schedule uh, playing the whole year. Playing, we have a lot of travelings in different parts of the world. But when the pandemic came, everything was canceled, and we don't have no gigs, and we don't have no work. Then Bella came with this great idea, and she told me about. I want to write your memories about you. I cannot believe it. I started laughing, and I saw her face, and she, his face was changing, and I was getting. Oh my God! I don't think she liked my comments, and but I take it serious, and we start working on the book, and at least it came out, and I'm very happy that came in the English version right now because that's something very big for me that came in both language because there was a lot of people that live in U.S. and different parts of the world. There's a lot of people from Latin America that moved to U.S. because things in Latin America is not too well over there, and to earn some money and to get a great job, you have to move to United States or other place. And there's a lot of Latin people right now living in the United States right now. But there's a lot of people that like to read the the English version, and they were asking me about you gonna do the English version, but I cannot say nothing because it was a secret. Bella tell me, don't tell nobody that we're gonna take this book out. It's gonna be a secret, and I have to. Some people ask me writing on Facebook or something like that, and they told me, "Hey, you're gonna have the English." Oh, my aunt, she is Puerto Rican, but she prefers read in English than Spanish. And she asked me, "Give me the book is gonna come in English," and I tell you, the book is gonna be in English, and your name is in the book too. That's my aunt, and my cousin buy the book by Amazon and send it to her, and she was very happy to have the book, and I feel very proud and very honored that my family so support me in this like well, this is like a new beginning for me because this is something I never thought I gonna have in life, and I feel blessed to Bella write this book for me. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm trying to do my best with my English. Okay, that's all I got.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Let me ask you this, Mr. Morales. Can you tell me about slamming it all the way to China? You went over to China to teach some workshops. How did that come about?
Well, that was a China drum summit. That was the time I was endorser with Remo, and the Remo have a factory over there in Taiwan. And then they have the festivals, and they and have some endorsement people that are artists of the company that go to different festivals, the different events, and represent the company. At that time, there was a festival that called the China Drum Summit, and it was about drummers. All the invited artists, they were drummers, players. The only percussion player was myself, and that was because Remo and the vice president, Freddie Shen, rest in peace, both, uh, saw me one day. I was going to the NAM booth. We were in the convention in Anaheim, California, and he saw me, and Freddie told me, you know what? I was thinking and somebody to send to even we have in China, and I don't remember right now the month that was at that time. It was the same year, but it was like October and November 2nd. I traveled to to China, and he told me I was thinking somebody, and when I saw you walking in, I told myself, well, this is the perfect guy to send to China to represent Remo Company. And I get what? Yeah, we got a meeting in 2 hours. I will let you know later what what deal we make with the China Drone Summit with that festival. Then when he came from the meeting, he gave me that news that I was going to be part of the China Drone Summit, and uh, that I was going to be representing Remo Company in that event, and I was going to be the only percussionist that going to be playing over there, and make a workshop over there too. That was two events in China Drum Summit. That was the way I met all the best drummers of all the world. The drummer of Tower of Power, called Garibaldi, and I was in the same stage with Steve Smith. He is a drum player of Journey, right? Journey, the group Journey.
Yeah.
Smith, he is in the Hall of Fame of the rock and roll Hall of Fame, and I was with them with all the drummers, and I cannot believe it because I don't even know who they are when I was there, and everybody told me they are the best drummers of the world, and you are playing with them in the same stage right now.
And there is a
And
picture
that
of
was
the book that showcases Jimmy on the stage, center stage. So the drummers are playing right behind him, but Jimmy is the center of attention of that picture. You got to see it. It's in the book.
yeah, and then the, they have another event in Taiwan. They were trying to look somebody else, Remo, to do the event in Taiwan. It was like a drum circle for the seniors. It was drum circles from the kids elementary school in Taiwan, and there was a music institute over there in Taiwan too. They want to know how to play the percussion instruments, and they want to know how to put the hand, how to get the sound of the drum, and they learn from me to teach the students. They have to learn from me first, then they go back to those students they have in the institute. Then I go to a drum circle, and there was about 40 or 50 seniors, each one with one drum. Everybody have a drum in the hand, and I was in the center. And when I do like a routine, I do a pattern or something like that. They repeat the pattern with me, and it was something at the very nice. It was and you see the people, the seniors, laughing and be happy at that time. So by like 45 minutes, it was wow. It's an amazing feeling. You see that people getting happy and that 45 minutes, and uh, for myself, be responsible to make that people happy at that time. It was something very amazing for me, and I think that is one of the most best experience of my life as a musician.
Wow.
That's the way I saw that.
Wow. Eileen?
And that was something amazing for me.
Is there
Well,
anyone that you've always wanted to work with that you haven't yet had the chance to?
well, there's a couple of, but I don't think I like to mention that. But there's a couple of big artists in the industry that I don't even work. But I know if it came a chance to work with them, I would do it. But there's important guys like Eddie Palmieri, uh, big stars. But right now the things and the music, the salsa music is changing a lot because we have the pandemic right now, the COVID, and right now the big stars are not playing, and when this finish, if God wants things like that happen as soon as possible, I know that there's gonna be a lot of change in the music. A lot of change of different groups are coming out. Young guys are gonna start to do great stuff because I do a lot of stuff, and but since God give me the health, I will keep trying to play with everybody and try to keep my dream here in my mind that I would like to record with some great artists that I still don't record before. And that's the way I saw it, and I hope that this continue. I hope I can make some recording with some other people. But they already that important people right now. They already have their conga player, and they already use their conga player to make the recording to, and that's what the like Eddie Palmieri have Johnny Rivero. Little Johnny Rivero is one of the greatest conga player of Puerto Rico and New York, and he is a conga player of Eddie Palmieri. I would like to record with Eddie Palmieri, but Johnny is my friend. He is the one who have the seat right now. You know, but things like that, you never imagine. I never imagined I was going to make a record with Mark Anthony, and I record with Mark Anthony
19.
19, and that was a Grammy Award winner, the album Opus. And I
Wow.
never imagined I was going to record with him, but that was one of my dreams to record with Mark Anthony, because he's one of the biggest artists of salsa and music and pop and everything. He is a big artist, and now I'm with Gilberto Santa Rosa as one of the biggest singer in Puerto Rico and over all the world.
Right.
And I already played with him about 40 years right now. And but I have to thank Gilberto because always when something comes up for me, like go to China, like go to do a clinic in South America, he always tell me, "Oh, Jimmy, go over there. You have to do that. Don't worry about your job here. Your job is you, you're gonna still have the seat over here. Go over there, do your thing, and I will be here waiting for you and waiting for take some dinner and talk about the events." And that's I feel very grateful for Gilberto about that.
Wow.
So, if I can add one thing that Jimmy wanted to do that didn't materialize, he wanted his dream orchestra to play when he was a young Conguero was Mulense, and
Oh
and
yes.
and Edwin Mulense was one of my collaborators for this book. So the first thing I did when I called Edwin is my friend. He went to high school with my uncles and aunts. So I've known Edwin since I was a kid. So first thing I do when I pick up the phone, I was like, "Yo, why didn't you hire Jimmy to go to your you lose?" It's, yeah. So that dream didn't come true. But at one point, Edwin was recording Filomena, and the Conguero couldn't get the Mozambique at the end right. And after a few tries, because you know that Mozambique has a couple silences in between, has the leather slap, a space, a silence, and then two groups, uh, um, two bars of the slap. And Edwin was recording, and Jimmy was hanging out at the recording studio with the musicians, doing nothing, just killing time. And towards the end, Edwin Mulense was frustrated and said, "Come on, Jimmy, try it out, see if you can do it." And in one take, that Mozambique came out flawless and is in the recording. And we got credit for Jimmy just a few months ago.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't forget, I can I complain about Edwin. He don't put my name in
Yeah,
the
you
record.
credit for that.
Nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows that I make that solo conga. That's Jainer Bruno. He's telling that no hay manera Filomena. Jimmy plays the ending to that song,
Yes.
and that's right, Bruno.
DJ Bruno
Thank you.
knows his salsa. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
yeah, and there's a lot of Puerto Rican that don't even know that's me and the ending part of that song.
Well, we
But
claimed that's part of what we did when we wrote the book, the memoir, and we developed the discography. I wrote to All Music and Discogs, claimed the credit, and we were able to put it on the discography. So that particular track now has Jimmy's credit.
Nice. Wow.
Woof.
It was complicated, Earl. It was a lot of work, but we did it, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just excited because I'm researching all these people now, and I'm just so excited. I mean, he's played with so many people. It's like amazing. A tremendous career, and Bella, you did a fabulous job on this book for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. It was nice to be able to conclude that after admiring Oreste Bilato, Johnny Dandy, and all those stars, he was able to be one of the colleagues and playing with them. Gilberto did the Junte just last year. So, and th- being able to spot those little anecdotes, and also make no mistake, Jimmy can be stubborn if he wants to. Sometimes I would write an anecdote or a paragraph, or I would have a couple chapters finished. So when we met the following day, I would read, what I had written, and most times he loved it. He was like, "Yeah, we're right on point." Some other times he was like, "Well, don't put that there because so and so may be offended." He doesn't want to step on anybody's toes. And in the music industry, as you know, that's very difficult because people are going to be offended no matter what. So it's like, come on, Jimmy. I mean, it took me all night to write this, and now you don't want to say it.
No, yeah, that was very funny.
Yeah, it was
Bella,
a
it was a great experience, and she makes a lot of things. So I write this, and she started reading. Uh, Bella, that's okay, but I don't like this part. Don't put that part. There's people that gonna tell me because I don't I don't like to hurt nobody, and
Right.
I really respect all the musicians and respect all the different styles because we have the Puerto Rico have a lot of amazing percussionists, and there's young kids that are playing a lot and different styles, and I think that we can catch up something from each percussionist. You know, everybody have her own style. Every- I have to learn from other people all the time. I have to hear right now at this time of my life. I still hear other people playing because I like to keep update to do what the young guys are doing right now, and that's the way to keep working and keep playing. Because if you stop and stop to not hear other conga players, you have to keep going and keep paying attention what's going on around you in the music, and that's something that every musician and every percussionist must be paying attention. Was doing this one, was doing the other one. The different styles are coming, and different instruments are in. Mixing different instruments from other countries, from other from other part of the world, like the djembe, the doumbek. They make a lot of mix, and you can create something different. But you have to hear the beat they have over there, the styles. And that's a very that's a great information for the percussionist to hear all kinds of music, all kinds of rhythms. To hear the bomba, the playing over here in Puerto Rico, that's a very uh, great music, a great great way to start hearing the beginning of the song that came from Cuba. You have to hear everybody. You have to hear all the conga players how they play, and if you got your own style, it's very difficult sometimes to right now to identify a conga player at this time in our life because maybe uh, you cannot everything can sound at the same way, but there are some conga players that you hear the tune and you can identify who is playing there, but sometimes you cannot identify the conga player. You know there's a conga player there, but who is, I don't really know because there's no LP, there's no record, there's no credits. And years before, that was something very great for us that you can have a record and you can see the credits in the back, on the back side of on the back cover, and you can read and study and see how Eddie Montalvo plays. Oh, Eddie Montalvo is here in the and with Willie Colon and Ruben Blades. Wow. And you see the other record, okay, this is Johnny Rodriguez playing with Machito. And that's the way you hear the other people now reading who is playing in that LP, who's playing in that tune. You know who is, you can know more about him, more about the style the way he plays. The way plays Montalvo plays a different way. Johnny Rodriguez plays a different way. There's conga players here like Sonny Garcia, Cachilo Thompson that plays Diogale. There's a lot, Giancarlo Camuña. There's a lot of people that plays and they have their own styles. And difficult, one of the most difficult parts of our instruments to make your own style, and that's that I try to make. I think so, and over all these years and all that recordings, I try to do my own stuff. But I always have a homework after I record one album. When the album out to the store, I go to the store and buy the album. I pay the $5 and buy the album. I was in the album because the record company, the album I make with them, I record. I buy it, okay, and I start to hear my congas to see what can I do better in the next recording. That was the way I can keep going and keep doing better for myself playing. Okay, I play like this way in this album. Okay, next week I'm gonna play with other artists. I do the recording, came out. I go to the store, I buy the record, and start to hear my congas. If I don't like the sound of the conga, okay, I hear it once and that's it. I don't like it. I put it on the side. If I like the sound, okay, I keep hearing the music, keep hearing everything, and that's the way I start to get better and better and better until over all these years that I make all that recordings. That it was something that was a gift of God that He make me be doing all that records at the time of the 80s and 90s, and I'm still keeping doing some works. Not now the business changed a lot, but I still do some things, some recordings. When they call me, I go over there, and they like my style, and they call me, and I do my stuff, and I came back home. Very happy because I'm still playing, and I still have the time to do some recordings and to play, and that's something that I think we gonna be playing all the rest of our life because it's something that play an instrument. It's like make you feel live, that you are alive. Oh, I'm playing today. My God, thanks, because I feel that I'm alive, that I can do something to uh, be something that make the people happy. That is music, and that's the way I saw.
Wow. Awesome. Mr.
I hope you
Morales.
understand me.
Oh, no, you're doing a fabulous job. And we're honored to have
Thank you, thank you.
We're going to have to wrap this up. But Eileen, do you have anything that you want to say? Or Bella, do you have anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, we're good. We want to thank you for sharing your space with us, for having us in your space. And I want to say hello to all my peeps in DC. I miss you a lot. I miss dancing salsa at your venues. I miss Zanzibar. I know there is no longer Zanzibar, and I reminisce. I love you guys. It's the best salsa scene in the world. It's a great dancers community, and I miss you. I miss you a lot. I love you. Please take care. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. I want to hug you in person again when this is over. So please take care of yourself. Stay safe.
Eileen?
I want to say thank you, first of all, to Jimmie as the musician who has brought joy into our lives for decades. Music makes us happy. Music makes our work easier. We clean the house quicker with music. And to Isa for taking all the time and effort to put this all together, detail after detail, research into research. This is really a tremendous work of love, and I say thank you to both of you, and to Earl for including me on this historic night.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Ronald for the great job that you did, Ronald, if you're still there.
Thank you.
Mr. Morales, you don't know the honor and the privilege this was for me to be a part of this amazing interview. And I'm getting kind of sappy. I don't want to start crying on the internet. I'm overwhelmed.
Don't let me forget. I wanted to say something and I forgot. This is the best example of teamwork making the dream work. I became the comandanta, and Ronald, the translator, let me dictate instructions, and Jimmie, the musician, let me interview him for 500 hours. And, he was just very patient with me. Miguel Vázquez for being my technical advisor on the discography. Toby Bennett for editing the English version. And so many, Nilsa and Fabricio for the great book covers, because we had two versions, we had two different book covers. So it was a great team effort. So thank you so much to the salsa lovers who I know they're going to love this. Eileen, thank you for regrouping, and Earl, thank you for making this happen.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. I can't wait to see it back again. Yes, sir.
I wanna thank everybody, Eileen, Earl, to invite your invitation to this show, and I feel honored to be talking with you and talking about the book, and I feel very proud of Bella, very proud of Ronald that does a great job too, and I have to thank you for letting me speak a lot of English today. It was a big exercise for me, but I feel honored to be here with you. Thanks,
Oh,
Earl.
wow.
I really appreciate.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you so
appreciate.
for the kind words, Mr. Morales. And I'm, you know, I'm going to tell everybody, yeah, he did his first English interview on my show.
Right, that's right.
So thank you so much, sir. Bella, Eileen, Ronald, you guys are awesome. I gotta, like I said, I gotta get off. I'm so happy, but I don't want everybody to see me cry on the internet because I'm supposed to be a tough guy. But I gotta go right now because I'm just overwhelmed with joy. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.
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 Good night.